Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why some people keep moving forward while everyone else gives up? Why one person sees obstacles and turns back, while another sees the same obstacles and builds something the world thought was impossible? Today I want to talk about someone whose way of thinking has inspired millions of people around the world. Not because he had an easy life, not because everything always worked out, but because he developed a mindset that refused to accept limits imposed by fear, failure, or other people's opinions. I'm talking about Elon Musk. Now, this isn't a story about becoming a billionaire overnight. It isn't about copying every decision he has ever made. This is about understanding the principles behind his way of thinking and discovering how those same principles can transform your own life, no matter where you're starting today. Because here's the truth. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they quit too early. Imagine two people standing at the bottom of a mountain. One person looks at the peak and says, "That's impossible." The other looks at the same mountain and says, "I don't have to reach the top today. I just have to take the first step." Years later, one is still standing at the bottom, explaining why success is impossible. The other is already looking for the next mountain. That's the difference mindset makes. One of the biggest lessons we can learn from Elon Musk is something very simple. Stop asking, "Can I do it?" Start asking, "How can I do it?" Most people kill their dreams before they even begin. They think, "I'm too old. I don't have enough money. I wasn't born talented. I don't know the right people." Every excuse becomes another brick in the wall that keeps them trapped. Successful people ask different questions. Instead of focusing on why something can't be done, they focus on finding a way. That single shift changes everything. Think about it. Think every invention that changed the world once looked impossible. Flying across the ocean, landing people on the moon, electric cars replacing gasoline vehicles, reusable rockets. Someone had to ignore the people saying it couldn't be done. Someone had to believe before the evidence existed. That doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to let today's limitations define tomorrow's possibilities. Another lesson is learning to think differently. Most people accept information exactly as they receive it. If everyone says something is impossible, they immediately believe it. But Elon Musk often talks about something called first principles thinking. Instead of asking what everyone else believes, he asks, what is actually true? Imagine you wanted to build a house. Most people would ask builders how much a house costs. A person thinking from first principles asks another question. What are the raw materials worth? Sometimes the answer reveals possibilities that everyone else overlooked. This way of thinking applies to your own life. Maybe everyone around you believes success is reserved for lucky people. Maybe your family says starting a business is too risky. Maybe your friends believe changing careers is impossible after a certain age. Instead of accepting those beliefs automatically, ask yourself, is that actually true? Or is it simply an opinion repeated so many times that people mistake it for reality? Many limits exist only because nobody has questioned them. Failure is another area where most people stop themselves. Let's be honest, nobody enjoys failing. Nobody wakes up hoping things go wrong. But failure has something incredibly valuable. Information. Every mistake teaches something that success never could. Think about a child learning to walk. How many times does a baby fall before taking those first confident steps? Hundreds. Imagine if that child gave up after the 10th fall. None of us would ever learn to walk. Yet adults expect perfection on the first attempt. The first business must succeed. The first speech must be perfect. The first video must go viral. The first investment must make money. Life doesn't work that way. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful entrepreneur has made mistakes. Every athlete has lost competitions. Every inventor has experienced failure. The difference is not that successful people avoid failure. The difference is that they refuse to let failure become their identity. Failure is an event. It is not who you are. Another characteristic that separates extraordinary people from average ones is responsibility. Average people blame circumstances. They blame the economy, their parents, their boss, their education, their luck. Successful people ask, what can I control today? That question is incredibly powerful, because the moment you focus on what you can control, you regain power over your own life. You can't control the weather, but you can control whether you go outside. You can't control other people's opinions, but you can control your reaction. You can't control yesterday, but you completely control what you decide to do today. Every great achievement begins with accepting responsibility, not because everything is your fault, but because your future is your responsibility. Another lesson is the willingness to work while others are waiting. Many people spend years preparing, planning, researching, watching motivational videos, reading books, waiting for the perfect moment. But perfect moments rarely exist. Action creates clarity, motion creates confidence. The first version of almost anything is rarely perfect. Your first business, your first speech, your first YouTube video, your first investment, your first attempt. Perfection comes later. Progress comes first. People often ask why some individuals accomplish so much in their lifetime. Part of the answer is simple. They spend less time talking and more time doing. Ideas are valuable. Execution changes lives. Imagine planting 2 seeds. One person waters the seed every single day. The other spends months discussing the perfect gardening strategy, but never actually plants anything. Which one will eventually have a tree? The answer is obvious. Life rewards consistent action, not endless preparation. Success isn't built in one giant moment. It's built in thousands of small decisions repeated every single day. The decision to wake up instead of hitting snooze, the decision to read instead of scrolling endlessly, the decision to practice instead of making excuses. Those tiny choices may seem insignificant today, but over months and years, they completely transform a person's future. And here's something many people overlook. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes because of action. Waiting until you feel confident is like waiting to become fit before going to the gym. It doesn't happen that way. You become stronger because you train. You become confident because you act. Every courageous person once felt afraid. The difference is they acted anyway. So if you've been waiting for a sign to start, maybe this is it. Maybe today is the day you stop doubting yourself and begin building the life you've been imagining for years. Because your future isn't decided by your fears. It's decided by what you choose to do despite them.